RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, everybody. Hi, guys. I feel a little low in the chair, but that's okay. It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be like we got it. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. This is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. Thank you for hanging out. I promised a weekday show. I was trying at least, so let's get together, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see the chat room filling up. Nice to see you there, Ed. Nice to see you there, Pookie's mommy, Irene. And there will be more people pouring in, as they often do, as we get the show going. So thank you. All right, where do we begin? I want to thank Charlie for, as always, thank you, Charlie, for your generous donations to keeping the show going and growing and to help the community cats. That's another thing that Charlie opens his heart and his wallet too, practical support for the community cats, and it means a lot. It goes to them, and they, I guess, if they, we make their lives a little bit easier if we can, and that's all we can do, right? And it matters. So thank you, Charlie. That's why it matters what we're doing here too. And Charlie, by the way, is from APS Radio News. He runs that website. He has other independent media voices over there, and Tarabuster is part of the APS Radio News roster. Proudly so. So thank you, Charlie. I'm sorry for being late. That's another thing. I try to do it around 8:30-ish, but the time is really crazy when I sit down and I start putting everything together, and I'm like, holy shit, it's already 8:30. I should have started. So, and then I have to log in, whatever. It's a whole ordeal. And in fact, then one of the cats uses the litter box, so I gotta go fix that because I don't want to sit here and smell, the problem, the stench. I don't know. Is that gross? Is that TMI? Probably not. We're a bunch of animal lovers here. We understand. So what else? Thank you for all of your patronage. That's another thing. I wanted to thank the patrons for your generous and ongoing support. Also, I wanted to, let me hold on a second. I didn't think, let me see. Last time I saw that I forgot to thank somebody that sent me a PayPal, what do you call it? Just a PayPal one-off, and it was, very nice and thoughtful. Thank you, Andrea Weinstein, for your ongoing support. And Elizabeth, thank you, Elizabeth Foreman. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. And now I can't find it. Shit, I'll have to look this up. Wait a minute. Talk amongst yourself. Well, tonight, while I'm trying to find this, let me, I'm trying to find a couple of things going on right now. Let me see. Hold on. I got to click this button and then click this button. So many buttons to click. Isn't there? That's why I can't find things half the time. Well, tonight we're going to talk about it's getting worse. We only have about 7 months. Well, what's getting worse? What am I talking about? Really, it's the fight against evil. I know that the Republicans like to call Democrats evil or democrats, right? But as always, they are either projecting or confessing. And the Republicans are simply, the bats are out of the belfry at this point. They're not hiding their disdain for the American experiment. And that is what's at stake. And all of the signs, I do have a optimism, a sense of optimism about the upcoming election, because we see that every special election, the Republicans are being trounced, like in Alabama, of all places, and all these red states, because the Republicans, they're not a majority party. They have a minority viewpoint, and they represent a minority of people, and the majority just simply doesn't want what they're selling. And what are they selling anyway? Nothing but division, but more despair, more you're on your own, more, I got mine, sucks to be you, more, acting like that your fellow Americans are your enemies. And I don't know about you, because I live in this bubble of normal people, majority normal people in a blue state, but I think that people are kind of sick of it. I mean, aren't you sick of it? I know that the listeners and viewers, a lot of you guys live in red states, and it's sickening to listen to this faux Christianity. The Republicans, they're trying to change the name of the Department of Health and Human Services to the Department of Life. The Department of Life. That's what they want to call it, because you might as well be living in 1984 at this point. That was don't forget Miss Cleo. Just read Orwell. At this point, the Department of Life. I wish the Republicans were Christian. I wish they gave a shit about life. I really do. Because we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have to worry about, turning into an oligarchy. They would actually want to promote the general welfare over the welfare of the same kind of people that Jesus chased from the temple. If I remember my religious instruction correctly, my mother was a nun and all, so I think I got a little bit of a, I got a little bit of, knowledge under my belt. And also, not that, that matters, my mother being a nun, it's not like it's passed through genes. Let me see. Oh, yes, Pamela Cantrell. Thank you, Pamela, for your support. Thank you so much. I'll figure this out later. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find on my damn phone. All right. Anything else I forgot? Anybody can remind me if I forgot anything else? So, all right. So, let me see. Where do we begin? The Republicans, and I've been saying this for years, that if we take the Republican policies to their conclusion, we're in the dark ages. Okay? Where the rich run and own everything, where if you have fallen hard times, you go to the church and beg the church for some alms, right? Alms for the poor. If you are, there's no need for you to be educated. Why? Education is a providence of the rich and the clergy. Church and state are intertwined. I mean, why would you need to be educated? That's why, the majority for Western civilization, most people weren't literate. All of this public education, even the notion of childhood, that is a modern invention. That's basically a modern invention of the last century. It's not even that old, the notion of a childhood, because you had children to help you in the field, to help you when you got old, to take care of your ass when you got old. And, children didn't have the luxury of becoming educated or being educated. And that was really the providence of the rich. If you were in the aristocracy, you were expected to be educated, but it was, not your serfs. No, not your, not the underlings, the those who work, those who pray, those who fight. And that all changed after the liberal age of enlightenment. And it took years. Like I said, public education is a relatively new invention, but it's also necessary for for a functioning democracy. Think about that. How Thomas Jefferson was most proud of his founding the University of Virginia. That's on his tombstone, not that he's the author of the Declaration of Independence, but that he was the founder of a university, and that they were creating a country that would be an aberration in the world, and it was. It was not a intergenerational aristocracy. It was a constitutionally limited democratic republic that promoted the general welfare over the welfare of the king and his aristocracy. So, in all its flaws and all of the, growing pains of the hypocrisies that we are still trying to wiggle and just shake off us, despite conservatism in general, which is the conservative ideology is fundamentally the ideology of hierarchy. And we're talking about, the Empire Strikes Back here, really, because they're not just rolling us back. They're not rolling back the New Deal or the, what did Perjury Trade Agree? And she was very upset about how Biden was, he was finishing the work of FDR and the Great Society. And Biden turned that into an ad. Genius. Not Biden himself, but his team. Because, that's what, frankly, I'm rather pleased that Joe Biden has turned out to be absolutely more progressive than I ever imagined. And I was pleased when I saw that he, of all of the how when presidents get into the White House, they put up pictures and they'll change, some of the decorations, some of the touchstones in the White House, like the asshole, the orange con man, the tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator with the fake university and the vitamin scam who received fewer votes, the one who's been convicted of rape. He put up, what was it? Yeah, Johnson, right? Or who did he have? Somebody that, the Trail of Tears president, the one who was a real piece of dirt, like he is. But Biden has FDR. He put busts of FDR up, and I appreciate that because it would really bother me all the time, especially with Barack Obama, who was a heartbreak for me because I really wanted him to be like FDR. And he was just another Republican. He was just another moderate Republican spewing Republican policies back at us, expecting different results, right? Expecting Republicans to be like, hey, yeah, let's have a functioning democracy. Why not? See, he's modeling good behavior for us. The Republicans don't want that. Look at them. They have no integrity. I mean, look at Marco Rubio, for example. You could pick any one of them. They're all disgusting. And it's really fun watching the Republicans jump ship. And, of course, they're Perjury Trade Agree. The rest they're all pissed off that these Republicans are leaving the House. And before the elections come, it's a high probability we'll have Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, thankfully. Because the Republicans, if they have any ounce of integrity, if they are in any way not a traitor or whatever. I mean, at this point, you'd already be gone. But now some of them are leaving because they can't take it anymore. They can't. Could you imagine having to go to work every day with perjury traitor Green? Having to sit in committee hearings and meetings are tedious as it is. When you go to work meetings, imagine being on committees with her. Yeah, the one of the small mercies of the Congress before this one, or the two Congresses before when the Democrats were in charge, was the fact that she didn't have any committee assignments because she's a fucking, excuse my language, because she's a traitor. Because she's a Jewish space laser conspiracy theorist, and who thought that, there are many videos of her saying things like Sandy Hook is a false flag. She was just an offensive, anti-Semite, racist, par for the course, typical right-winger. So she wasn't given any committee assignments because she's unfit. She's unfit to scream into somebody's mailbox. That's what she does. I mean, that's the only thing she could do, really. That's why we are always treated to these antics. Her jumping on chairs, screaming and yelling, because that's what she thinks her job is. She's a troll. She's a walking troll. Harassing a survivor, a young man who survived a massacre that Republican policies helped create. Screaming at this person. He's for a fact he's got PTSD. You have to have PTSD surviving something like that. And watching your friends die, running out of a school. I mean, this is what we do here in America, But because because this is what I'm saying with Republicans, I wish they were Christian. I wish. Because we wouldn't be dealing with this shit. They would go pray in their closets. They would do the work of the Lord, right? They'd follow the Savior they pretend to worship. And go feed the hungry, house the homeless, visit people in prison. Maybe we wouldn't be the most incarcerated nation. Maybe they'd have compassion. Instead of selling merchandise that says drinking liberal tears, they'd care about their fellows sharing this blip of time, right? I don't see what they're talking about. They call themselves Christians, and they're certainly not patriots. I don't need to say it again, but I will. That anybody who sits around drinking liberal tears, you're not a patriot. I mean, even on here, it's tedious to have to deal with right-wingers, and they're annoying as F. They're just, they don't bring anything to the table. They're horrible people. And I have I have to deal with them sometimes because of this show. And they never have anything to offer. It's not like they're trying to have a dialogue, right? But they're so picked upon. You know what I mean? They waste their time, their limited lifespan, harassing me, for example. Why don't you go feed the homeless? Go to church. Go to a Bible study class, right? Take your MAGA Bible with you. But no, they'd rather waste their time, waste their lives being awful. But what can you say? As my father always said, you can only expect grunts from pigs. And what else are they going to do? We can only expect grunts from pigs. Birds got to fly, fishes got to swim, and MAGA got to be morons. And horrible, too. If they were only morons, I'd feel bad for them. But they're also incredibly just overwhelmingly awful. It's not, I don't know. Have you ever, I'm asking you guys on the chat, for real, have you ever met a maggot that isn't awful? I'm seriously asking that question. I mean, they're all horrible people in some form that are unfit. They're just unfit to function in a free democratic society. Wait, I lost my mouse. I have a special ergonomic mouse. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's for my carpal tunnel syndrome. That's why I have to wear these, for years. That's me toiling in the field. Click, 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 click. Right? Whatever. All right, where do we begin? I don't even know. There's so many things going on, and I'm not sure. We'll see what happens tonight. I promised a show, and then I was like, I have to get up really early tomorrow, so I can't do a 3-hour show, just letting you guys know, because I got to get to sleep. And, what? Buddha, what are you doing? I got to take Booty Boo and Tara Jr. to the vet. We know, because Tara Jr. has hairballs. I hope they're hairballs. I just got to get it checked out. And Buddha Boo is having diarrhea. Okay. You asked, so I had to tell. There's a few things I wanted to talk about. Let me see. Where do we begin? Well, I guess we can start with the Bible. Trump's Bible. I mean, just when you think they couldn't get any more disgusting and disgraceful and deplorable. Good word. Accurate word. Just when you think they've hit bottom, the trapdoor opens and there goes Trump.
Proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood. Who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our Founding Father documents. Yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day,
really?
Very hard.
You're fighting for the Constitution. That's why you're selling a Bible. From sneakers to a Bible. This is because first of all, we know he's a grifter, right? He's like one of these snake oil salesmen. When are we gonna get to the point where he's, laying on hands, right? Like Jim Jones. When are we gonna get to that point where he's healing his morons? Right? I want to get to the point where they're in Jonestown or Trumptown. Go to Trumptown. Make your own society. No socialist security. Well, for brown people. But there'll be no brown people there. And the ones who will be there will be the compliant ones. The ones who understand their place. And they'll be the good ones because they'll be the ones that you can use as human shields for your bigotries. But this guy the thing that's kind of terrifying to me, we know he's a grifter, but I think it's sort of like the big lie. I think that Trump has, because he's a sociopath, he's a psychopath, whatever, he's a malignant narcissist who feeds off the accolades of his dupes that he actually hates. That's the irony. We don't hate these people. We're trying to get them health care. We're trying to make sure they don't die without health care, that they have decent working conditions, retirement security, living wages. But what's he doing? He's taking their money. He's figuring out more ways to separate dupes from their money. And we have it's not me saying it. There's actual examples of how he misused the funds of his dupes, like George Santos did. Taking people's credit card numbers and running them without their permission. Trump did the same thing. He had the automatic payments. Usually that's something that you have to actively click on, but when you donated to the con man, that was already selected for you, so people wouldn't realize until months later, holy shit, I gave this asshole $50, but he's been taking $50 out of my account every month. I didn't give him permission to do that. But oops, yes, I did. In the fine print, it said, if you don't want to make it recurring, click here. You see how crafty he is? Now, this is supposed to be a billionaire, everybody. He's a billionaire. My ass. He might be a billionaire now. I mean, it's really clear to me that there are different rules for everybody else but him, but this parasite. And I don't know about you, but aren't you sick of it? I am so sick of having to listen to him and to hear his name every time I turn on any media. It's unbelievably, it's enough. Okay? Can we get a minute, Trump? Can we get a fucking minute without you? This is his dream. Yeah, you turn on the TV, we'll count. We should take bets. Turn on the TV and count the seconds until somebody says his name. It's goddamn sickening. Yeah, but he's misused funds of his dumbasses. He let me see, what did he do? He didn't even bother to set up this PAC that he told his morons they were donating to, to save America. Save America by turning it over to an autocrat who hates America. Save America by destroying everything that actually makes America great. This is what's so twisted about Republicans, these maggots especially, that this America thing is over their heads. They don't have the fundamental decency, maturity, or any of the adulting required to function in a free democratic society, especially a nation of immigrants, a nation of laws. They need the autocrat. They need the hierarchy to tell them who's where, what's in their play, who's in their place. This is why they get all screwed up. They're twisted. When you're not in your place. That's why they're dragging us back to forget that, like I said, the New Deal. It's not that. They're not just rolling back the Great Society, rolling back the New Deal, rolling back the Progressive Era. They're rolling back the American Revolution. They're rolling us right back to the Dark Ages. Every policy that they that they adhere to, that they're trying to inflict on us, that's the end game. The rich are entrenched in the catbird seat of power. Everybody else, you're on your own, bubby. But just like in the old days, rules for thee, not for me. If you get sick, go to the church. If you can't work, go to the church. And make sure you make church on Sundays, because they'll keep you in your place, and that's your natural place. And don't worry about it. You'll get a mansion when you're dead. As for the mansions here on earth, your lords have those cornered. And that's because God loves them. He must love them more since he made them rich. And therefore, they're your natural lord. I mean, this is where it's going. And the nerve of this person here, who hasn't darkened the door of a church unless it was to take a photo op and hold a Bible upside down, to sell a Bible to these morons, is so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing for this country. And I want to ask JD, or I see JD in the chat from England, what the hell? I don't even know what to ask. What are people saying? Did you see this over there? Did they play this over there? Well, let's continue here.
Protected also the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this.
It's all
God
part
bless
of the Bible. God bless. He's riffing now, guys. He's riffing. He's freestyling.
Say Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me.
Like nobody's ever
To me, have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul.
Oh my God! You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Like a lot of people have it. It's the best. It's like nobody's ever seen. It's like Trump Tower. It's like these plastic golden sneakers I got here. It's like the Trump NFT. It's like it's your favorite president. It's me with the holding a Bible. You gotta have it because that's it. That's your retirement plan. That's your health care plan. Jesus is your health care, buddy. We told you we were gonna repeal and replace Obamacare with something better, cheaper, like nobody's ever seen. Everybody be covered. Wouldn't cost a dime. The greatest deal ever made. I could make this deal. That's your health care, right there. Pray if you get sick, you'll be seeing Jesus sooner. Don't get sick, and if you do, die quickly. But here's your Bible. The greatest book. It's the greatest. Like no one's ever seen. Oh God.
Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights.
We are? What threatened to lose what rights? See, they're always under attack. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, the bridge collapse in Baltimore. These freaks, the bats came out of the belfry. It didn't take a minute for them to come flying out of the belfry. All the conspiracies. They live in a very terrifying world that's in their heads. But they have this moron who's just pouring gasoline on the fire. And then you have Fox News and all of these propaganda channels feeding their manias. And the other thing I want to talk about was the Ronna McDaniel being hired by NBC, hired and fired. Well, we'll get to that because it's another example of Republicans playing victim. She wasn't fired for being a Republican. She was fired for being an insurrectionist, a liar, involved in a coup. And in a news organization, there has to be standards. That's why the people who consider themselves actual journalists were outraged. But we'll get to that. And, of course, Fox News continues to lie because they're saying that she was fired for being conservative. So now being a conservative means you are wedded to lies. I guess that's what they're saying. She's fired for being a conservative. A conservative point of view is now it's now, you believe, absolute fiction. And we're all supposed to have some kind of what? We're supposed to respect that and give that equal footing with the truth, with facts. This is what they've been doing. It's like climate change. We got 99 scientists say this, and so do our eyes as we see glaciers melt into the sea. Glaciers that have been here, as we see the fact that Florida, for example, the insurance companies won't insure the beachfront property because they know it's not long for this world because of climate change. They know what's coming, but 99 scientists say this, our own lying eyes say this, but one guy paid by the big oil his big oil masters says that. So, both sides. both sides are equally equal. They're just equal. You got lies are equal to facts in Republican bizarro world. And if you don't think so, then they're being picked on like nobody's ever seen.
Happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country,
so
but we're going to
sad.
get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country.
How dare you? Really?
And I truly believe
you
that.
Son of a bitch. That's not how America was founded. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, which shows us right there that they are confused. Like I've been saying forever. Republicans, they not only hate America, they're confused by her. They're confused by America. They go be Christian. Nobody's stopping you. That's the whole thing. No religious test. There's no state religion. So go worship your sky spook. Go in the closet like he told you and worship him. Give all your money to the poor and follow him like he said to do. I don't know what you're doing. Propping up this goddamn succubus all the time. This nothing but a black hole of greed and need, who Jesus himself said would have a camel going through the eye of a needle would have a better time, would have an easier time getting into heaven than somebody like him. The worst, the absolute worst. But
we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire.
It's going haywire
religion
because we don't have religion. Do these people know the history of Western civilization? I doubt it. According to them, I guess everything was just wonderful when church and state were intertwined. Anybody know about the I was going to say the insurrection. What's that? I can't think of the other word. The insurrection. Where they attacked all the people who weren't Christian. Inquisition, yes. Insurrection, Inquisition. What about, I don't know, if you go to England, speaking of England, you go into these estates, and they have priest holes. Priest holes. Why? Because they couldn't freely practice their religion. And if they were found to serve mass, many people were put to death. Many priests, many Catholics were put to death in most horrific ways for the mere act of celebrating mass, celebrating their so-called Christianity, their love of their Jesus in the way of the Romans or Roman Catholicism, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is what happened. This is throughout history. We've had religious fanatics trying to, tell people what to think as far as who to worship. You used to be fined for not going to church. That's another thing. You had to go to church. That's what we're missing here, everybody. We're missing the same shit that the founders fought a revolution to overthrow. All right, we're missing everything that the Age of Enlightenment was an antidote to. We're missing that. Because, Republicans are confused by this America thingy.
Country. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many.
We have. Wait. I heard your ex-wife saying that you had Mein Kampf on your nightstand, not the Bible. That you'd read the Bible and say Hitler had some good ideas. And you've even said that in public. Could you imagine any Democrat, any normal person trying to run for public office saying Hitler had some good ideas and not being automatically disqualified. What the hell is wrong with these people? Well, what's wrong with them is that they have entirely too much power. They're not... Yes, priest holes is a thing. Paradu. Priest holes. They used to be like, secret rooms and whatnot. So when they came to your house, you would just put your priest in a hole. Under the Queen Elizabeth, priests were imprisoned, tortured, and killed. So they were specially concealed places within the house where they can hide priests in case of an emergency, if somebody just showed up. Unbelievable.
It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back...
It got a lot of applause, this book. There's a lot of people that read it. They're still reading it. It gets a standing ovation. And so a lot of sales. Number 1 on the book list for thousands of years. A lot of people read it. Therefore, it must be. It's true. It's like The Art of the Deal. My second favorite book. That's what I say. As if we believe that.
And to make America great again is our religion.
Oh, Jesus
Religion
Christ.
is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back.
It's so missing, but it's going to come back. It's going to come back, everybody. It's missing. It's so missing that it's always shoved down our throats. It's so missing that we can't rest easy, that women can't get a goddamn abortion when they're carrying around a dead fetus in their body, but it's so missing here, that women have to be raped by instrumentation before they can get an abortion. Back in the good old days of Roe v. Wade, they couldn't stop women from getting an abortion, so they would simply make them go through horrible, stressful, and degrading things before they could get any control of their own destiny, their bodies, their whatever, any choice, any autonomy. They couldn't stop women back then, so they had to, just stick an ultrasound up in the woman's body, because just to show her place, How dare you have autonomy over your body, woman, witch? And there's no coincidence that Alito, in his opinion, his destruction of Roe v. Wade, how that he cited a 17th century, some crackpot from the 17th century that was also of course, a misogynist and a witch burner. Can you believe this? This is where they're going. They're citing laws from the 18th century. The Comstock Act. They're talking about English jurists from the 17th century that were witch burners. That's why Alito helped destroy Roe v. Wade, using these writings. Yeah, Matthew Hale, an English judge, known for his role in the Salem witch trials. He defended marital rape. Well, you couldn't rape your wife. He also believed that witches were real, and sentenced women to death in one trial in 1662. And ironically, but not unexpected, Matthew Hale's views on witches and witchcraft were considered outdated in his own time. Okay, that's what Republicans look to for inspiration when they're not begging billionaires to buy their mother's houses or homes or send them on a whirlwind $500,000 vacation around the world. Unbelievable.
They come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong.
Oh, go away.
In the end, we do not answer to bureaucrats in Washington. We answer to God in heaven.
We answer to God.
Christians are under siege. We must
this
protect
is what Republicans like to say. We don't worship government. We worship God. Who said you worship government? Go away. You want your socialist security. You want your paved roads, your infrastructure. You expect these things. You expect there's no parasites in your water when you make your morning coffee. Or there's no parasites in your food when you eat your food. Or you expect when you turn on the electricity, when you turn on your lights, the lights are on. You expect these things. But where did they come from? Government. You expect the mail. You expect the infrastructure. Except when, of course, we have bridges here that fall down. Thanks to years of neglect, too. So, you got to make the rich richer. Who needs to revitalize and spend money on infrastructure when you got to get rich guy a tax break? Jesus Christ.
Tent that is pro-God. We love God.
We
have to protect
Who are you talking
that
to?
is pro-God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left-wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us.
The left-wing groups who are, welcoming the stranger,
bring
feeding the homeless,
back into our lives, and
thinking about their fellow Americans. The left-wing groups that care. That's the worst thing you can do in the Republican bizarro world is care. Compassion is a dirty word. That they actually govern like that. That's why they don't like women. On top of it, they say, women they're too emotional. They bring emotions into government. Because you're not supposed to have emotions, meaning don't care about your fellow American. Don't care that somebody's hungry or homeless or left out or can't get health care without begging on GoFundMe. That's your, compassion. That's just drink their tears. Compassion is for weaklings, according to them. You got to be strong. You got to put razors in the water. When a desperate person is trying to swim to some semblance of having a life, you got to put every barrier down, including hopefully the trip, and maybe you could shoot them. But if you do that, Joe Biden's going to put you up for murder. But is it really murder if they're brown? I don't know. I guess that's what they're trying to say. Is it murder when you're being strong? You're just being strong. You got to show these people who's boss. We need God, you see, right? That's what God would do. That's what Jesus said. When I was a stranger, what did he say? You built a wall and you put razors in the water. You wanted to, when I was a stranger, you were like, put the alligator, put every animal that is known to man in the water. Put sharks with lasers and alligators, all kinds of piranhas. Put it in the water. That's what Jesus said. When I was a stranger, you put piranhas in the water and built a wall.
To what will be again a great nation.
Yes,
our founding
we're
fathers
not great
did
now because, normal people who love democracy are trying to have a functioning government. They're doing things like, I don't know, taxing. They're trying to tax the rich. Well, they're bringing back manufacturing. Who needs that? You just talk about Infrastructure Week until you're blue in the face. Until these idiots are they believe it. You just go, oh, it's Infrastructure Week again. It's Infrastructure Week. It's like the 2-minute hate at the end of the day. Fucking unreal.
Tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo-Christian values.
Though. They didn't build America on Judeo-Christian values. And, of course, Trump, who is as a dullard as the day is long, who knows nothing, who had to be educated on the history of Western civilization for the last 75 years. He knew nothing. Didn't know anything about the 20th century, the wars of the 20th century. He just knew that Hitler had some good ideas. And that's why the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson at the time, his Secretary of State, who's now a moron, the worst, only the best people who turn out to be the worst when they come out and say this guy is a moron. Look at what's going on. All of his inner circle, all of the cabinet that had any integrity at all are saying, no, we're not voting for him. He's unfit. He's a moron. Rex Tillerson, in fact, called him a fucking moron. Yes, he is. He's a guy. A lot of people don't know that Lincoln was a Republican. Meaning, he didn't know. He didn't know. A lot of people don't know that. Frederick Douglass is getting known more and more. He's doing a lot of good things lately. It's getting recognized more and more. Well, maybe, I don't know. Just put some bleach. Maybe you could inject yourself with some bleach. Sort of like a cleaning. Yeah, think about that. Yeah, okay. Okay, Chief. I'll put that down. But this is like, it's like Caligula's court at this point with these Republicans. That's what he's building. This Project 2025 is a misogynist's dream. It is the Dark Ages come back to life here. And they're rebuilding, the system the founders fought a revolution to overthrow. And calling it democracy. Holding up a Bible. Selling a Bible. Now imagine... Let's join me in this alternative world where Barack Obama sells a Bible. Right? What I have here is the Yes We Can Bible. The Yes We Can. Like nobody's ever seen. We got the Yes We Can Bible for the low, low price of $59.99. Just like Jesus said, yes, we can. Jesus didn't say when they said at the wedding that there's not enough food for everybody. He said, hold my beer. Hold my wine glass. And he made fishes for everybody. I guess they were takers, not makers. But yes, we can. Here's the Bible. Could you imagine what would be happening on the propaganda channels on the right? They'd be losing their minds. Worse than ever. That's how we know they're insincere and unfit. And, okay, you know what? They can be unfit. But the problem in this country is they have entirely too much power. They must be smashed legally and peacefully into history's trash pile. And then we all have to, when you got overfilled trash, jump on it. That's what we, legally and peacefully. That's what has to happen. They have to be trounced in the election because they are going to try to steal it. You understand? It's true. They're trying to do all their dirty tricks. They're pulling out the stops. They're calling in backup from Russia. That's why part of why Elon Musk there's no standards on Twitter. You're on there arguing with bots, worse than ever. There's no way to tell what's real, who's real. There's no real account. Half of them are goddamn bots. There's no doubt. No goddamn doubt. And of course, that's what Putin's been doing this for how many elections? Forever here in America. He doesn't want a functioning America. He doesn't want a strong America. He doesn't want a democratic America. He wants this country, could you imagine? I mean, this is his dream, to turn America into an autocracy. To have America join the nations of autocracy that are propping up all over Europe, to join Hungary. There's no coincidence why Tucker Carlson, CPAC, that they have Orban not only come to speak here, they go and have their convention in Hungary so they can get ideas. How do we do this here? And once it is done, if he gets power, we will not get rid of him. It will come to fruition. They're going to do exactly what happened in Hungary. Turn the media. They'll go against the media. They'll remove licenses from NBC, MSNBC, CNN. They'll have their FCC licenses pulled. There's no doubt. We will be living in an autocracy. They'll go after the higher, systems of higher education. They'll go after universities. They'll go after, just like they've gone after diversity and inclusion. DEI. It's illegal in some of these red states now. You can't do any DEI, diversity and inclusion seminars. If you work for a corporation, sometimes you got to go and take a seminar for 2 hours, how not to be a dirtbag to your fellows who might be a little different. That's too much for Republicans, the rugged individuals. That's too much. When they see somebody who's actually an individual, they lose their shit. And they got to beat these people into submission. That's what it's about. So you can't show them how to, a video of somebody doing the right thing. What the hell? Boudica just shut off the light. Oh, well. How does it... I guess you could tell, right? It's not too bad. It's not dark. There's a power strip. She always does this. Booty! Put the light back on. Damn it. She's going mad. She's going mad among us. All right, let's continue.
That foundation is under attack, perhaps
really,
as never before.
Is it
What can we do? Stand up, speak out, and pray that God will bless America again.
God, dementia.
I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible.
Endorse.
We must make America pray again. Pray,
yes.
Get educated, get motivated, and stand with me and the legions of Americans asking God to bless our great nation, to bring our great nation back, and to make America great again. I'm proud to partner with Lee in this offering. He's a very special man, both as a talent, but maybe even more so as a human being.
Like
He's very, very special.
Isn't he
and
special?
I think you all should get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others. There you have it.
Our Christian
Let's
values,
make America
like
pray
grab
again.
them by
God
the
bless
pussy.
You, and God
when you're a star, they let you do it. Our Christian values, like sticking it to a porn star while your wife is recovering from childbirth. Our values, like, money. Money, 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 money. That's what it says in the Bible. Our values. Money, 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 money. Money. Right? Just money. Get as much money. Step on as many people as you can. If there's an old lady in one of the apartments, if you buy a building in New York, let's say, hypothetically, and there's an old lady that's been living there in her apartment for 50 years and it's rent controlled, and you could get buku bucks for that apartment. And she's 80-something years old, but you don't want to wait for her to die. So you just engage into systemic harassment against her. Make sure you break the lights in the hall. Don't put them back on when she calls. I can't see. Tough shit, lady. Move, die. Turn off her electricity in her apartment in the winter, and so she freezes in the winter and sweats her ass off in the summer. Maybe she'll croak like in the good old days when the old people died of hypothermia in the winter and malnutrition all year long before that socialist security, before the New Deal. That's what you do when you're a Christian. That's what, that's Trump. And they're all Christians. They all love Jesus. They all love God. I really wish. That's why you need $2 billion from the Saudis. See, when they say they love God, what they mean is they want to discriminate against people. That's it. They want to be able to call misgendered people. They want to attack gay people. They want to make us against them. And they don't want anybody to have a reaction to it. That's it. And that's the extent of their Jesus, of the love of Jesus. Love thyself above all. Love money. Worship money, expel the stranger. That's Republican Jesus. Hold on a second. Oh, well, I have this other video of Trump and it's a montage. I know, right? It's terrible. I hate to do this to you, but it's a montage of him giving his vast and extensive knowledge of the Bible.
The Bible. You talked about The Art of the Deal, great book. The
Great
Bible,
book.
even better. Why is
nobody's
that
ever
you?
seen?
Well, there's so many things. Like, you take whatever you want to say. There's so many
Whatever
things
you
that you can
wanna
learn from
say.
it. Proverbs, the chapter, never bend to envy. I've had that thing all of my life.
This is what really annoyed me besides everything else. Never bend to envy. Somebody said this to him. You realize that. Like one of these idiots like Paula White. Somebody said, it's just like in Proverbs when they said never bend to envy. Strike and strike, right? And when she was going, until you have victory. And he picked it up as everybody else needs to know this, not him. He's not bending to envy. It's just like in Proverbs. Never bend to envy. I've had that my whole life. Meaning everybody's envying me. And they're coming after me. They're picking on me. They won't let me steal. They won't let me cheat on my taxes. They won't let me inflate the size of my apartment when I want a loan and deflate it when I pay my taxes. They want to figure out what I'm doing with these campaign funds. Am I paying a porn star for her silence? After the Grab Them by the Pussy tape comes out?
The Bible. You talked about
Or am
The Art of the Deal, great
book.
The Bible, even
It
better.
might not.
Why is that for you? What
Well,
is
there's
it?
so many things. Like, you take whatever you want to say. There's so
Whatever
many
you wanna
things that you
say.
can learn from it.
So many.
Proverbs, the chapter, never bend to envy. I've had that thing all of my life where
The
people are
nerve.
bending to envy.
People are bending to envy, not you, right? Not you of the golden toilet. Not you of the gaudy, golden, gilded bullshit house. Not you of the trophy wives, right? No, you didn't bend to envy. That's why you had to trade up your wife every time they aged a little. They made the mistake of continuing to wake up and got old. Like him. Never bend to envy. This is what pissed me off. Of course, his cult followers aren't going to say, well, I'm talking about what have you learned? No, because he's never learned anything. He doesn't need to learn. You can't fix perfect. Never bend to envy. Everybody else is there. It's like Proverbs. They're coming to get me. He has compared himself to Jesus, as we know. After he's in court, saying, "Oh, it's just like Jesus." I'm like, Jesus, get off. Get off that cross, Jesus. Make room for the con man. But he believes this. I do believe it's sort of like the big lie. I don't know. I know he knows he's a liar, but he might have gotten to the point where he's like a sociopath. Like, who's that serial killer? Gary Ridgway. They gave him a polygraph. He passed because he's a sociopath. He doesn't care that he killed so many people. He didn't make a blip on the polygraph because whatever. Whatevs. So the same thing with him. What does he care? What has he learned? What can you learn when you're perfect? Everybody else has got to learn. Like in North Korea, when he says jump, when Kim Jong-un says jump, they all go how high and they all snap to attention. He's very impressed with that. That's what he wants us to do. This disgusting parasite who hates America. Let's not forget that. There's no excuse for this. This is an assault on decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity, using every trick in the book. And it's disgraceful how the morons, the MAGA morons, are falling for it again and again and again. Aren't you? Don't they have any decency? But I guess not. When I think about Marco Rubio, for example, they're saying, oh, he's possibly going to be the con man's running mate? Come on. The same guy who called the con man what he is, a con man. Donald Trump is a con man. That's what he said. He is a con man. We know this. And now he's gonna join his administration if given the chance. 'Cause power. They don't care. It's like Mitch McConnell, the gravedigger of American democracy. They have no dignity. It's like Ted Cruz. How could they? All they had to do was stick together and not be lick spittles to this horrible person. But they couldn't do it. That's how much they're just unfit. They're just horrible people who would, I always say they would sell their own mother. They'll kick their own mother over a cliff. But it's not speculative. They're doing it. They're selling this country to what? This greed-centered ghoul? This disgrace? Are they all twisted? Do they believe it? I know that some of the morons who are wearing the shirts, the Made in China shirts, the giant flags, the Made in China giant flag. Yeah, the idiots, the ones who look ridiculous like this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Are they kidding me? JD, do they have people like this in England? Look at this guy. Do they got people like this over there? Looking like this? Walking around like that? With this stupid hat and this stupid flags sticking out? Supposed to say that you love America because you stuck flags in your hat while you're doing everything you can for a con man to overthrow democracy and turn it into an autocracy. That's the opposite of patriotism. But we knew that. Okay, well, let me continue.
The Bible. You talk.
Okay, you're reading now.
Hold on. Here we go. It gets worse. Don't bend to envy. I've had that my whole life. Poor baby.
In terms of religion, I'm talking in terms of leading a life, even beyond a religion. There's so many brilliant things in the Bible. And
really? Name one.
I'm wondering what
Name
one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk
Bullshit.
about the Bible, it's very personal.
It's
So I don't want to get
personal,
into
but
verses.
I don't even know one
There's
thing.
a verse that means a lot
Except
to you that you
for
think-
what somebody told me recently, don't bend to envy. And that means you shouldn't bend to envy. Nobody. I'm being picked on.
bad or sight.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Unreal.
Well, I have a number of favorite authors. I think Tom Wolfe is excellent.
Did
He's
you
written
read
a great book.
Did you read Vanity of the Bonfires?
I did not.
It's a phenomenal book.
You
What
didn't
book are you
read
reading
shit.
now?
Mein
Well, I'm
Kampf.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
I'm reading
excuse
my
me.
own book again
Yeah.
because I think it's so fantastic, Tom. I mean,
Is there
My
a favorite
own
Bible
book.
verse or Bible story that has informed your thinking or your character through life, sir?
Well, I think many. I mean, you know, when we get into the Bible, I think many, so many. And tell people talk an eye for an eye. You can almost say that. That's not a particularly nice thing. But, you know, if you look at what's happening
You look
to
at
our
it
country,
like nobody's
I mean,
ever
when you see what's
seen.
going on with our country, how
What's going
people
on?
are taking advantage of us and,
Oh yeah.
and how they scoff at us.
You
and
got
laugh.
$20 at the Netherlands? You got $20? Nobody's paying. You gonna pay? You gonna pay over here? Nobody's paying this thing that is nobody knows what you're talking about because nobody pays anything. It's not a fucking dues, you stupid. Nobody's paying. Give me $1. What a tiny little worm he is. You got $1? Give me money. If they don't pay. Yeah, that's what we are, you know. We're the protection racket. You got $1? You need me to break somebody's kneecaps? Give me $1. They didn't pay, so I had to do nothing while Putin destroyed another democracy, you know, because it's small, tiny, unfit.
At us, and they laugh at our face.
They
and
It's the
laugh.
best book you
They
read
laugh
beside
at
Art
you.
of the Deal.
I really like Tom Wolfe's last book.
See,
And,
I thought you
I
said
think-
you
I think
didn't.
he's-
In the same interview, you realize the person who put this video together wasn't me, but they, you know, of course, did that deliberately. Within one, this is not 2 interviews. Not like a week later, he's like, "Oh, I'll read that book." This is the same interview. He said, "No, I didn't read that book." And then, as the conversation goes on, it's like, "Yeah, Tom Wolfe. I like that Tom Wolfe book that I just said I didn't read." Unbelievable. Of course, you haven't read a book since Dick and Jane, except for the selected verses from Mein Kampf. He didn't read the whole thing. He just likes to have it by his bedside. He reads some chapters, and every now and then, you know, for inspiration, he'll say in mixed company, this is not us assuming. There are testimonies. You know, of course, they're anecdotal, but people, why the hell would they come out and say, yeah, Trump at a dinner, we were at dinner, we went out with the Trumps is when he was married to Marla Maples, and he was going on about how Hitler did some great things. This guy wrote an article about it. He's like, I'll never forget it. And Marla Maples was like, come on, you know, trying to downplay it. You don't really mean that, Donald. Come on, like trying to, because she was embarrassed. And he's like, nope, and took over the conversation because people were like stunned. What good things? He did some good things. And of course, he couldn't even name one. And he said at this dinner that was reported by the person who reported it that he was saying that that's what America needs, a strong man. You know, put everybody in their place.
Great author. He's done a beautiful job. He's
like nobody's ever seen.
He's his current book. His current book. It's just
Same.
out.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
Yes.
The one you said you didn't read like 2 minutes ago.
The man has done a very, very good job, and I really can't hear with this earphone, by the way.
And I asked some of the folks, because I hear this is a major theme
Jesus,
right here, but
us.
2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians,
2 Corinthians,
3:17,
walk
that's
into
the
a
whole
bar. 3:17, that's the whole ball game. Right? But no specifics, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is what drives me insane about everything. Well, it's sort of like what goes on the corporate media. He is, this guy, you know, this con man here, he's like a child that didn't do the reading, he didn't do the book report, and he's trying to fake it till he makes it, right? That's it. But it happens on the media, in the media all the time. They'll say, well, you know, I don't believe in socialism or whatever. But nobody ever presses them. What are you talking about? Even the MAGA morons, when they say, well, I'm on Medicaid and it's never enough. But these people coming in, they're getting everything. And nobody ever presses them. So you want more. You want a bigger, better, more economically vibrant social safety net, right? You want to have all of the benefits of civilization, but none of the responsibilities we have to each other. And you believe that you can't have that because there are immigrants coming in, right? That is this what I'm getting? But they never press them. They just assume that everybody knows. We all know what they're talking about.
ball game.
It's the whole ball game.
Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And here there is Liberty College, but
fucking talk about a bullshit artist.
University, but
you're looking at the
so
master con
when
man
you think
of this planet. It is true. You got to give him that. He is the most prolific and probably the most successful con man who's ever lived so far.
And that's really, is that the one? Is that the one you like? I think that's the one.
Even to cite a verse that
no,
you like.
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible.
Equal.
The whole Bible is an incredible.
You can read it over, and many people have done this, and they
many
live their life that
people.
way. But
Like
you
no
can
one's
read
ever
it
seen it.
hundreds
It's
and hundreds of times.
Lot. It's
David,
very
they say
popular.
Great art, like the Mona Lisa. Some people, they look at it, and it doesn't look as great at the beginning. And then they'll look at it by the time
who
they
told
see
you
it many,
this?
many times. It
Somebody
becomes the
said
most,
this
they can't take their
once
eyes
to
off
him,
of it.
and he thinks
Whereas art that's not great,
he's repeating.
you look at it, it looks beautiful at the beginning, but you get tired of it. The Bible is special. The Bible,
it's special.
The more you see it, the more you
like
read
the
it.
January
the
6th
more
insurrectionists.
The
They're very
whole
special.
Bible is
We
an
love
incredible.
you.
I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
I don't like to use this analogy, but like a great movie, a great, incredible movie. You'll see it once, it'll be good. You'll see it. You can see it 20 times, and every time you'll appreciate it more. The Bible is the most special.
The most special book. Boudica, now. What? Hey, Buddha. Buddha. Did you see that? Booty. What are you doing? Come here. Come here. Ugh. All I need is her to knock over the TV. Booty. Why are you being a booty? That's a very special TV. It's the whole ball game over there. Like nobody's ever seen. All right, let me. It's unfathomable how anybody can deal with him, right? Someone get him an accordion. Haiku on the chat. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Oh, shit. Hold on. I'm dropping everything. Just dropped my mouse. Thank you. If you can become a patron, please do. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin while I'm getting the next thing going here. I know. It's really... I am torn when I play clips of Trump. I'm torn between playing them and having to vomit, really. I can't wait till it's over. You know what I mean? Not just 7 months from now. That's how many months we gotta... This has been going on since friggin' Joe Biden was elected with the most votes. Unlike Republicans who somehow sit in the halls of power despite receiving fewer votes. But okay, that's why we're in this boat. But it never stops here in America because we don't have public campaign financing. You know, they get a little bit, but it's not like it's nothing, you know. It's nothing. They need to go beg billionaires. So we have legal bribes built right into the system. It's not the recipe for success. It's the recipe for... It's like the siren song for grifters. Come and get it. It's like the dinner bell for jackals. Come and get it. Ding, ding, ding. If you have no decency, if you have no integrity, we got a job for you where you get to be a billionaire's pet. That's it. Like Uncle Clarence Thomas, like the Supreme Court, all of the conservative Supreme Court, the illegitimate Supreme Court. Now, trying to think here. Where should we go? Well, let's go with the bridge collapse because it's all connected. How the Republicans, right out of the gate, it was conspiracy theories. It's so embarrassing. And the fact that this happens, you see, of course it's the internet too, because the idiots can find each other now. They used to have to work at it. You know, you had to subscribe to some newsletter that came once every 6 months if you were some kind of cuckoo. Not that I know about that. I only subscribed to the Star Wars fan club when I was a kid. That's not for cuckoos. But, if you were... Yeah, if you thought if you were like in the Bigfoot Society or you saw, I don't know, aliens under every rock and thought that everything was a big conspiracy. If you were, watching too much, I don't know, too much X-Files or too much, what's that show? Oh, The Prisoner, right, back in the day. Right, I am number 6. I am number 9. I don't remember the whole thing. But right out of the gate, they blamed the Baltimore bridge collapse on everything that Republicans hate. They blamed it on DEI, diversity and inclusion. This is how racist they are. diversity and inclusion, meaning that some black people built the bridge. Oh, there's black leadership in Baltimore, which is a majority black city. So, I don't know. They were, voting for people who live there. I don't know. What the hell? But they're racist, you see? They come right out and say it now. That, for example, Charlie Kirk, he said that if he gets on a plane and there's a black pilot, he immediately thinks, uh-oh. I mean, this is how disgusting they are. When in reality, and we know, it's like Ketanji Brown Jackson compared to Justice I Like Beer. Ketanji Brown Jackson's resume is amazing. It's extensive. It's impressive. What is I Like Beer? What is Justice I Like Beer? He likes beer. He was a Republican who was involved in Republican dirty tricks his entire life, and being a Supreme Court justice is his payoff. That's his payoff. And they couldn't hold a candle to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, that's for sure. And she has more experience, more academic accomplishments, more than the goddamn, what's his name, Roberts, more than the chief Supreme Court justice, the chief justice, and certainly more than Justice what's her face, Handmaid. Now, and the other thing is, she didn't have the liberty when she was being questioned by the Senate. She didn't have the liberty to bang the table and scream, "I like beer." Right? See, that's your DEI. See, it's like Obama when he was in office. He didn't have the luxury. He didn't have the freedom to get angry. When, let's say, for example, one of these Republicans started screaming, "You lie," because they don't know how to behave. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to govern. They don't want to govern. They want to put on a show, and they want to beg for donations. They want to do the bidding of the billionaire masters. That's it. As they're turning America into an oligarchy. So they don't have anything to offer. They're not. I mean, look at their platform now. What are they running for? What are Republicans running for? Oh, we're gonna take it back. We're gonna bring religion. That's what we need. It's religion. It's so under attack here. Christians are so under attack. They're only 80-something% of the population, and so under attack by the mere existence of gay people, trans people. That's what they mean. Everyone's attacking the poor majority. They're the underdog. That's what Republicans like to do, the professional victims. They like to claim the mantle of the oppressed while being the oppressor. It's fascism 101. Everything that the Nazis did was they were just protecting themselves. They were under attack. The Polish attacked. That's why they had to invade Poland. The Jews were attacking them. That's why they had to kill the Jews. Everyone was attacking them. When they burned down the Gay Studies Society or whatever, I can't remember what it was called, the trans center there, it was just under attack. They were attacking their Judeo-Christian, well, not Judeo. They were attacking their Aryan values, and they were Christians. We can look it up right now. Not just the Gott mit uns. paraphernalia, but how the church itself, how the Catholic Church especially, fell right in line. We can look it up right now. Priests, bishops giving the Nazi salute. Also, after the war, there was an underground, sort of like an underground railroad, but for Nazis, that got these war criminals out of Germany and gave them new lives, brought them to Argentina and whatnot under false passports. But it was run by Catholic priests, so, who were also Nazis. So being religious and being a Nazi is not something that should be surprising. Okay. So anyway, with the bridge here, where is this woman? What's her name? Lara Logan? What happened to her? Didn't she used to be an actual journalist at one time? Lara Logan. It was a little confusing. But she's a conspiracy theorist now. Like, she's really gone nuts. And I think she was one of the first to come out after the bridge was, it was reported that the bridge collapsed, and she was the first to come out with it's a false flag, or no, it was, we were being attacked.
Right, I'm talking to people who are on the inside, some who are on active duty, some who are retired.
What are you talking about?
Everyone, literally, from critical infrastructure in Department of Homeland Security to the intelligence agencies, they know there's no other. This is a cyber attack on a critical infrastructure corridor for the United States. This is, for those people who think this is just a river, this is in Baltimore, what does this matter? You don't know anything about what you're talking about. The I-94 corridor on the eastern seaboard is literally what connects the north and south. And when I talk about hazardous materials, right?
They turn everybody's brain into mush.
Strategic attack on one of the most important supply chains in the United States of America.
Of course,
the only other one is in the western side in
Real
California.
America's
That's the only
voice.
one that's busier. And what you have done
Meaning
is you now
Brad,
have shut
not Brad
it down.
and he's
and
a good
when
guy.
I talk about hazardous materials,
Steve Bannon,
what are we talking
traitor,
about here?
fascist,
this is
traitor,
refined fuels,
grifter.
right? This is propane gas.
Should be
this
in
is
jail.
diesel. This is fuel. This is flammable
Pardoned by the
materials. This is
con man
oversized loads, nitrogen,
for stealing from
chemicals,
his dupes.
everything that you
Chemicals, rats, mice living like human beings, stars and stripes falling from the skies everywhere, sharks dressed in suits, and men and women dancing on the moon. Yeah, I've heard it all before. But it's not being reported by the media because you're being lied to. When I first watched this, it was like, it doesn't take but 30 seconds for the bats to come flying out of the belfry. Andrew Tate. He's a rapist, right? I thought he was in jail. What happened to Andrew Tate? He's one of them that came out with conspiracy right out of the gate. He made millions peddling misogyny to boys. That's his wheelhouse, right? He doesn't have to say, please become a patron. This is why this world is so fucked up. And an online influencer with millions of followers claimed without evidence that the ship had been cyber attacked. This is what the right wing does. They have no clue. It's like if I came on here and just started spewing all this nonsense about, cyber attacks. Maybe, if I did that, I'd probably wouldn't have to say, please become a patron. I'd get a lot of money from billionaires. Maybe a billionaire would fund the show like they did to Breitbart. Gave him $6 million to buy they put him up in a townhouse in Washington with a staff, and this is what the right wingers do. Billionaires know they got to keep people cuckoo. They got to keep everybody at each other's throats. So when their Social Security isn't enough to live on, they say, oh, it's because of the brown people. They don't want the working class to get together and realize that they should be pointing their fingers at the con man who's trying to sell them a Bible and a sneaker and a goddamn NFT and everything other thing without even bothering to set up a goddamn PAC, using and misusing the money that's coming in from these morons. And they went through his Trump's, what do you call it, his funding, because it's supposed to be campaign funds. And that's the thing with the hush money. They call it the hush money trial. It's not just a hush money trial. It's also election interference. That's what he was doing. That's why he's been brought to court. That's why he was indicted. It wasn't paying off a porn star for her silence. Who cares about that? You could do that. Take your money and give it to a porn star. Just keep her mouth shut because your wife is home. What do you call it? Who just had a baby. She's recovering from childbirth. That's not against the law, as far as I know, unless as long as she pays her taxes. It's because he used campaign money. He wrote this check while in the White House. Can you believe that? Could you imagine? Let's play the game again. If it was Barack Obama was found that he was cheating on his wife while she was home recovering from childbirth, and he wrote a check to a porn star and had his fixer go pay her off. Well, he had to pay her off in installments because that's what a billionaire, that's how much of a billionaire he is. But could you imagine if that was Barack Obama? Oh, no, because Barack Obama, he's a decent man. He doesn't behave like that. He loves his wife. So it seems to me. If he was cheating on his wife, it would have come out, I'm sure, by now, somewhere. They actually love each other. And Republicans can't stand that. That's why they have to denigrate their relationship. This is what they do, because they can't fight on the field of ideas. They have no ideas, as we see. They have to mask and wrap their ideas in the veneer of all kinds of bullshit, like this faux religiosity, this faux patriotism. They have no ideas. Their idea is make the rich richer and the working class the working poor, and keep people divided. Keep them nuts. Keep them at each other's throats. And we're seeing the repercussions of that. This is the fruits of their labor. Right? Know them by their fruits. That's the whole ball game. Know them by their fruits. What are their fruits? Everybody's cuckoo. They're nuts. And it's one of the hallmarks of a crumbling society. By the way, I hate to say it. It sucks. But when you don't have a currency of truth, it's kind of impossible to have a functioning democracy. So the only thing we can do with these Republicans is to make them a permanent minority party, and to put them into history's trash bin without apology. I mean, legally and peacefully. Vote them into the permanent minority where they belong. They're not fit. This is what they do when they have a platform, when they have power. They go out there and twist and go and pour these lies into the empty skulls of the people who follow them. Get them all twisted up, thinking they're under attack everywhere. Everything's a big conspiracy. When I saw Lara Logan, immediately, it was like 5 minutes after I saw on the news that the bridge had collapsed, and then right on Twitter, Lara Logan says, It's a big conspiracy. We were under attack, but nobody's telling because everybody's corrupt. See, if everybody's corrupt, nobody's corrupt. And that's why they need a con man. They need their strong man. Right? But it's all of them. Twisting this country. They are committing all kinds of malpractice, political malpractice. They're committing, really, it's an assault. Patriotic malpractice, that's for sure. They call themselves patriots? What's so patriotic about twisting the easily twisted into cuckoo nuts? So much so, they storm the Capitol. They're so twisted, they go defecate in the halls of the Capitol. Everything's a big, big conspiracy. Yeah, not only was the Baltimore bridge collapse. Oh wait, I'm trying to find the list I had. They blame diversity and inclusion, everything that they hate, in general. Gay people, I guess. It was all gays. Gays did something, probably. Where is it? Come on, man. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Andrew Tate claimed without evidence that the ship had been cyber attacked. Researcher Mike Rothschild noted that this has become a standard response where any unexpected event gets run through a filter of conspiracy theories. On Fox Business. Now you're talking about, this is not just the Fringe. This is Fox Business, like a major network. Maria Bartiromo, who we know, Bartiromoron, know her as Bartiromoron, I guess. It's easier for me to say. Excuse me. Falsely suggested that the wide open border, so-called, could have something to do with the bridge collapse. You see that? How they do that? It's brown people. It's DEI. It's the border that they will do nothing about. They had a conservative bill that the Border Patrol wanted. More judges, more agents, more machines to stop all that fentanyl they say is coming through. I don't know. They get very upset when fentanyl is stopped at the border. I guess they want it to come through or something. We always hear how fentanyl has been stopped. But they do nothing because their dear leader told them, you're not supposed to legislate. I didn't send you. I don't give you my blessing to squat in the halls of power and get your phony baloney cushy check for doing your podcasts. I don't do that. I don't give you my blessing as Christ Almighty here on earth /Jesus /Donald Jesus Trump. I don't send you there to legislate. I send you there to collect your phony baloney check. Do your podcasts and shut your mouth. Spread my big lies and every other lie. Spread the big lie, the little lie, and every other lie. Take your dignity and just shove it down the toilet or in the halls with the rest of the traitors, where the traitors defecated. Just shove it there. You won't be needing your dignity anymore, if you even had it. I guess if they had it, they wouldn't be Republicans. Because if any Republican that ever had any dignity or decency is gone. They were already gone. I hope there's at least one more in there that sees the others head for the exits and says, I'm out of here too. F them. And gives them a nice goodbye gift. by making the Democrats the majority. That would be great. We're putting in a motion to vacate. God, shut your mouth. Perjury. I mean, these people are so tedious. Oh, the clown show. Oh my God. It's not even anything new. It's the same old clown show. Same old conspiracy theories. Same old bullshit. Oh, you got a motion to vacate because the Speaker of the House funded the government like he's supposed to. Okay, former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, a traitor, appeared to suggest that the incident was not an accident in a post on Twitter. Right, everybody, be afraid. Don't believe you're lying. It's not a bridge collapse. It's a false flag. We're under attack. It's zombies. It's immigrants. It's diversity and inclusion. It's trans people. It's trans activists. They want us to change our genders. And they're going to blow up a bridge. Utah State Rep. Phil Lyman falsely blamed diversity, equity, and inclusion, saying, he wrote on Twitter, "This is what happens when you have governors who prioritize diversity over the well-being and safety of their citizens." So, if we had white people in there that knew what they were doing, is that what you're saying? Then everything would be okay? Because we really need white people to be in charge, because they're the only ones who are competent. That's the message. They have no decency. I can't even talk. They're the worst. Who votes for these people? This is what happens when you have governors who prioritize diversity. I mean, they might as well just say the N-word. That's where it's going. We're going back there, right? Back to the Dark Ages. Just come right out and say it. I mean, they're right. They're to the point where they hate democracy. They're outright saying we need a strong man. Who cares about democracy? We need a strong man. Why don't you just come right out and say it? Take off this facade. Take your masks off. We know how you hate wearing masks when it helps people. Take it off and just let it out. You know, I mean, it's incredible. This is what happens when you have governors who prioritize diversity over the well-being and safety of their citizens. It's almost shocking if I didn't expect it. You know what I mean? It's the level of depravity, the level of indecency, and their racism is just so out in the open. And they're so racist, they don't even realize what they're saying is racist. It's incredible. The researcher Mike Rothschild explained that the most important aspect of the bridge accident for these people isn't how many lives were lost or the effect it will have, but who can they blame for it and how much they can cash in on the blame or off on the blame. How do you say that? How much they can cash in off that blame. Yes, that's it. Right? It's not what we can do better, what we can learn, what happened. You know, because if there's any conspiracy, it's the fact that Infrastructure Week for years was a laugh line. And why? Because we can't take any money. We can't tax anybody. We can't tax the rich. You have to rob those who don't have any money. You have to rob social services. You have to rob the social safety net that the MAGA morons are crying about that they need more of, but keep voting for their own demise. And we can't have a functioning society if the rich, like this tax cheating, draft dodging, serial bankrupt con man, doesn't pay his taxes. That's what pays for the infrastructure. You have to maintain infrastructure. You don't just build it and set it and forget it. So, if anything, I don't know though. I haven't done the research, but what's the deal with the bridge? I mean, when was the last time it was? I mean, what's the maintenance on that bridge? And I know that they, thankfully, Infrastructure Week is no longer a laugh line. But it's going to take time, to get all the lead out of the pipes, to fix all the bridges. There is a bridge in Staten Island. They just rebuilt it. Was it the Goethals Bridge? Let me look this up. And my cousin was telling me one of his friends worked on it. And while they were because they were building the new bridge next to the old bridge, and that old bridge had not been maintained because of Republican policies. And they said the guy who was building the new bridge was saying that as they were building the new bridge, and the cars were going over the bridge, it was still it was still open, and they would see chunks fall into the water from the old bridge. And the guy said, "I will never take that bridge," because they were watching it. It was completely dilapidated. It was ready to collapse. Luckily, they built the new bridge before there was a catastrophe. They got it done. Thanks to, Infrastructure Week actually coming to fruition. But that's what they were saying. They would be building the bridge and the big rocks, whatever that was, pieces of the bridge. So a truck would go over, boom, 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 and then the metal plate would fall off into the water. And the guy said, "Don't take that bridge." He told his wife, "Don't take that bridge. You're taking your life in your hands." But that's America for you, in Republican policies where you don't give a shit about anything but giving money to tax cheating oligarchs who they never have enough. They never have enough. It's never enough for them, but they want to come for yours. That's the whole ball game. Ugh, I can't handle it. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you cannot have a functioning society when every time something happens, you have these morons coming out of the woodwork telling all their other fellow morons that it's not what it seems. It's a false flag. It's DEI. It's something that sucks. It's something we should fear. We can never learn from it. Never really take stock of what happened. Right? It's so. Ugh. This is what what happens when you have governors who prioritize diversity over the well-being and safety of their citizens. Now, what citizens are you talking about? Right? Diversity. See, to them, diversity is dirty. In a nation of immigrants where most normal people understand that being a nation of immigrants, that's the unique, that's American exceptionalism. That's what makes the country great. People want to come here. Not as much when we have Republicans trying to murder them or whatever. I can't take it. But, what citizens are you talking about? The well-being and safety of their citizens. Are you talking about the diverse? The different? The people who, diversity and inclusion trying to bring into the circle, right? So that's the point. What is so difficult about giving a shit about other people? What is so offensive to them? What makes them so upset about learning about others who might be a little different and being good to them, being decent, and if you can't muster that, just shut your mouths. I don't understand what's so hard about that. Making a nice community, a respectful community that understands, that has, curiosity, intellectual curiosity about others. I mean, what the hell? What would Jesus do? That's the whole ball game. Yeah, the conspiracy theories exacerbated by the changes that Elon Musk made on Twitter. Because anyone willing to pay for a blue check can have their posts boosted. That's what happens when you pay this so-called genius. It doesn't matter. They're not checking accounts. A lot of these accounts are fake, and they're spreading the conspiracy theories. That's what Putin wants. They pour this nonsense into the discourse because that's how you destroy the country. You tear people apart. You tear it apart from the inside. So much easier than storming the beaches, right? You don't even have to fire a shot. They'll do it for you. The morons will do it for you. They'll storm their own capital. They'll hang their own vice president. They'll destroy their own democracy. You just light the fuse. You pour the gasoline. You make the fake accounts. You make the fake Facebook groups. You get them to perform. You get them to go out and storm their capitals, put their friggin' assault weapons on their backs, threaten their elected representatives. Because they're all corrupt, right? They're all trying to get you to... They're all really just doing some false flags. They're evil. They're what are they? They're just a pedophile ring or doing they need adrenochrome. Anyway, all right. One last thing. Where are we? What time is it? What's her face? So we saw, this is related though. So we saw that NBC hired and fired Ronna McDaniel. Well, she doesn't say Romney anymore because her dear leader didn't like Romney, who is, he's retiring. He used to be he was the Republican standard bearer for a minute, Mitt Romney. Remember when he was running for office? And now he's a pariah to the maggot cult of morons and Putin puppets and traitors. But so she took the Romney out of her name. I mean, this is how they are, right? I mean, it's like, what's his face? It's like Ted Cruz's wife. They have no respect. They have no self-respect. How do you allow your husband, I mean, whatever comes out of his mouth, allow or not, but then you sleep with this guy who is kissing the ass of a filthy, traitorous con man who called you ugly in front of the whole world. Said, look at my wife and look at your wife. I mean, I'm thinking of the words. I don't know. There's so many of them. What a horrible person. And you're up there licking his balls, metaphorically. Maybe real. I don't know. I don't know what goes on behind the walls of Marimoron. Can't be pretty. The photographs I see look pretty bizarre coming out of there. But how do you do that? How do you allow your husband comes home after licking the balls legally and peacefully or whatever of a con man who just called you ugly in front of the whole world, and you endorse him? Honey, I'm home. What? You better get your ass back to Cancun before you wake up like, what's his name? Before I do a Lorena Bobbitt. I don't know. How do you... It's like the whole family has no decency. They have no dignity. They hate democracy. They don't have any self-respect. How do you allow that to happen? You don't, and that's cool. You're cool with that. You're cool with being made a mockery in front of the whole world. And you're cool with your husband being debased and degraded by this con man again and again and again. As long as you can what? Have access to money and power. I don't know what what can't they get without the con man? What does she do? She's rich herself. Heidi. Right? Let me see. I think she's actually a CEO or some hedge fund, something or other. Let me see. Heidi Cruz, occupation. Yeah, she's managing director at Goldman Sachs. Why do you need Ted Cruz to be anything? Get his ass out of Congress. I mean, that would have been it. Whatever. She can lick her money. I don't know. But, okay, but the thing is, this is what the point, basically, is that, so NBC hires Ronna McDaniel, the friggin', all of the, I mean, of course, everything, everyone the normal people on Twitter went nuts. Hold on, I'm looking for this. Ronna NBC. Bing bang boom. So let's see what happened. So NBC announces the hiring of Ronna McDaniel, the former RNC chair, as a contributor. And the other employees, not just the on-air personalities or the journalists, the on-air talent, but the producers, everyone went nuts. Because you have to have a sense of pride in your work, right? And NBC and MSNBC are supposed to have standards, and they do. They get something wrong, they have to correct it. They have standards and practices like in the good old days. There's supposed to be accountability. They have to run things through legal. They can't just say things like the election was stolen, like what happens on the propaganda channels that have to pay $2 billion for lying to people. So the decision was reversed in the face of this intense backlash and internal dissent, and the NBC Universal Group chairman, Cesar Conde, reversed. They rescinded the appointment, let's say, citing concerns raised by the network, and then the decision to part ways. And in fact, McDaniel, whatever the hell, she only appeared on Meet the Press, which apparently was an interview that was scheduled before her appointment or her hiring was announced. And on Meet the Press, if you saw it, it was all over Twitter. Chuck Todd, I was like, where have you been, Chuck Todd, all this time? He didn't hold back. And he likened, and Rachel Maddow, of course, calling her hiring like inviting a mobster into the district attorney's office. Exactly. Questioning the rationale. Rachel Maddow highlighted McDaniel's role in spreading the election misinformation. And also, she was involved in the fake electors scheme. Chuck Todd said that her actions and their implications, the implications of her actions would have deleterious, I guess that's the word, and a deleterious effect on NBC News's credibility, and that's the truth. So but conversely, in the Republican world, look at what's going on Fox News. They're saying that Ronna McDaniel's dismissal is a result of it just goes to show how much NBC is biased against conservatives. Meanwhile, they have the former head of the Republican Party. They have other former Republicans like Joe Scarborough, like Nicole Wallace, and others are on their payroll and have shows. Some of them even have like Nicole Wallace has a show. She's not a Republican. She's not a Trumpanzee. But the right-wingers, for example, let me show you Fox News's headline. Ronna McDaniel's meltdown marks the latest news outlet to face a revolt from liberal staff for GOP platforming. No mention of the big lie. They're just saying they're being picked on. CNN, New York Times also faced employee backlash for platforming Republicans. That's not the problem. Platforming Republicans isn't the issue here. It's giving a big lie, giving a perpetrator, giving a traitor a pass, basically. It's giving that traitor credibility. No harm, no foul. So what? You're involved in the overthrow of American democracy. That's what she did. She told the Republicans who pled guilty. Some of them are in jail. These fake electors. She told them, do not certify. We'll give you legal representation. We'll get you attorneys to cover your ass for this coup. She was in on the coup. She should be ashamed of her. She should be in jail, too. She knows the election wasn't stolen, like the rest of them. But that's now the litmus test for being a Republican. You have to say the election was stolen from the con man. You have to live in his bizarro world. The practice of this is from Fox News' article. The practice of major news organizations hiring ex-lawmakers, government officials, and political insiders has existed for decades and has largely been non-controversial. The purpose, particularly for TV networks, can vary from relying on experts to opine on certain topics to allowing diverse points of view to discuss the news of the day. But the polarization of American politics and the increasingly liberal groupthink that has taken over newsrooms have upended a company's ability to make such decisions without workplace drama. And that is currently unfolding at NBC News. No, that's not what's unfolding. Liars, traitors, big liars, the ones who were sued, they're still spreading the big lie. That's what this article is. They're still covering the ass of the con man and spreading the big lie and making news, making this shit up. That is not what happened, Fox News, and they know it. And they know it. They know that she was fired. Her offer was rescinded because she's involved in a coup, not because she's Republican, not because she is a conservative. That is being a conservative. Now, being a liar, we know that, but being conservative does not mean you have to be a liar involved in a coup. That's not conservative. There's nothing conservative about that. Trying to overthrow American democracy. Just like it wasn't conservative when the founders overthrew the intergenerational aristocracy. There's nothing conservative about trying to drag us back to the Dark Ages. But this article right here just tells us right again that Fox News is still at it. Of course they are. They'll never change. They'll never tell the morons the truth. That's why it's important that everybody get out and vote en masse in 7 months and every special election on election day. We have to overwhelm this vote because we are living among morons who believe this shit. They think they're being picked on. They think Trump was stolen. The election was stolen. That's why whenever they do these fucking polls, they come out, the Republicans come out, they're like, oh, what do you think? Was the election, is Joe Biden legitimately elected? And it's 60% of Republicans say no. Because it's not just the fringes anymore. It's the mainstream, Republican media. This is the mainstream. That's Fox News. They, just like Ted Cruz, they didn't want to get left behind by being a legitimate news outlet. So they started to lie, too, because they saw their cuckoos, the bats flying out of the belfry and going over to OAN. And it all comes down to the unholy dollar for these ghouls. They don't care. Democracy, shmamocracy. Democracy, oh well. You died for this thing, oh well. You stormed the beaches of Normandy to stop fascism, oh well. They don't give a shit. Just like Henry Wallace warned us about. Vice President Henry Wallace warned us of exploiting every fissure of disunity. He warned us about these liars. Hold on, Henry Wallace. Since I brought it up. Dangers of American fascism. Where is it? Hold on a second. But yeah, I mean, to say that it's the professional victim too, right? Oh, she's being picked on because they didn't want a coup, someone involved with the coup who was only finally said the election wasn't stolen. As far, I think, just happened on Meet the Press. Is that what happened? Because she was saying this is what they do. They wiggle around it. They don't want to offend their dim leader, their dumb Führer. They say Joe Biden's the president. Joe Biden is the was the election stolen? Joe Biden is the president. Joe Biden, as if that's a pass. You won't say no. Of course it wasn't stolen. There's no anomaly. But and in fact on Meet the Press, what did she say? She was like, "Oh, there were irregularities." That's what they say. There was no irregularities. What are friggin' regularities? There were none. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a 4K camera in their pockets now. There's no irregularities. And all the bullshit that they showed. Oh, they're passing around thumb drives like bags of heroin. Scum. That's why Giuliani lost his law license. Because you can't go to court. We're not at that point yet. They haven't completely corrupted the courts. Only the ones that they could corrupt, like the Supreme Court and the fifth, wherever Eileen Cannon is sitting, and all these other unqualified flunkies. So they haven't completely corrupted the courts. So 61 court cases that they brought were dismissed. Some of them dismissed with prejudice because they had nothing. They went there wasting everyone's time, as Republicans do. We should be doing the business of America. We should be revitalizing our infrastructure, for example. We should be worrying about ensuring that everybody has a roof over their head, living wages, they work in decent conditions, retirement security. That this country is the envy of the world, right? That's what we should be doing. Working on a country that works for everyone. So the whole world is like, wow, democracy is great. It works. But they can't function in democracy because it takes maturity. They might not be able to steal as much. They might not be able to have as much power to manipulate because they can't make a buck unless they can rig the game. And they need buku bucks. They need more and more and more. They got to fill that empty, bottomless gap, that hole that they say their Jesus is in there somewhere. I doubt it. For the people who supposedly love Jesus so much, they certainly need all that money. Right? It's never enough for them. They need another zero and another zero so they can, I don't know, what? Put razors in the water? I don't know. What do you need all those zeros on your bank account? While there's so many things that need to be done. You should be embarrassed for yourselves being so sick. Yeah, Wallace, the American fascist, is known. Here, where is it? Come on, man. A paywall. Here's some quotes. The deliberate perversion of truth and fact. I'm trying to find the full one. Oh, it's from the New York Times, 1944. Let's see. They poison. Here we go. Oh, this is not the exact. Henry Scott Wallace is writing an article about his grandfather. 73 years ago, the New York Times asked a sitting vice president to write an article whether there are fascists in America. It was an alarming question, and the vice president took it seriously. His article, The Dangers of American Fascism, described a breed of nationalists who, that's like, I'm a nationalist. That's Trump and perjury, traitor, green. Because they're confused. They don't understand history or what that actually means. So, nationalist who pursues political power by deceiving Americans and playing into their fears, but is really interested only in protecting his own wealth and privilege. What does that sound like, right? The vice president was my grandfather, Henry A. Wallace, and in my view, he predicted President Trump. To be clear, I don't think the precise term fascism, as in Mussolini or Hitler, is fairly applied to Trump. Well, this was in 2017, by the way, this article. Mussolini was a proponent of corporatism, defined by some as a merger of state and corporate power. And through that lens, using that term, my grandfather's warning looks prescient. My grandfather warned about hucksters spouting populist themes and manipulating people and institutions to achieve the opposite. They pretend to be on the side of ordinary working people, paying lip service to democracy and the common welfare, he wrote. But at the same time, they distrust democracy because it stands for equal opportunity. They invariably put money and power ahead of human beings, he continued. They demand free enterprise, but are the spokesman for monopoly and vested interest. They also claim to be super patriots, but would destroy every liberty guaranteed by the Constitution. That's from Henry Wallace. Hold on. They bloviate about putting America first, but it's just a cover. They use isolationism as a slogan to conceal their own selfish imperialism. This is the warning come to fruition. They need scapegoats and harbor an intensity of intolerance towards other races, parties, classes, religions, cultures, regions, or nations. The 19th century saw the political rise of wealthy Prussian nobility, called Junkers. They were driven by hatred for other races and allegiance to a military clique, with a goal to place their culture and race astride the world. My grandfather acknowledged the great difference between American fascists and other countries' murderous authoritarians. The American breed doesn't need violence. Well, this was in 2017, as I said. Now the violence is par for the course. Lying to the people is so much easier. They poison the channel of public information, he wrote. Their problem is never how to best present the truth to the public, but how best to use the news to deceive the public into giving them more money and power. In fact, they use lies strategically to promote civic division, which then justifies authoritarian crackdowns. What the hell? I mean, this is where we are. Through deliberate perversion of truth and fact, he said, their newspapers and propaganda carefully cultivate every fissure of disunity. Thus might lying about an unprecedented high crime rate legitimize a police state? Well, we were talking about this last show. How even though crime in America is at historic lows now, all you hear on Fox News is the crime is out of control, crime. Oh, yikes. All right. This is a long one. I can't read the whole thing because it's already 11:15. Guys, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Where are you? I lost you. Where's my people? My people. Are you still there, people? People who need people. Deliberate perversion of truth and fact. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good article. I never saw that one before. That's Henry Wallace's grandson in 2017. It's where we are right now. Unbelievable. But that's why we got a lot of work to do. And that's why we do the show. Okay? You have to get up at 5, Stephen? What time is it where you are? Is it 11 where you are? Like it is where I am? Damn. Well, thank you for hanging out. I have to get up early too. Not that early, but I have to get up at what time? 7. That's kind of early. Maybe a little earlier than that. All right, my friends. Listen. Thank you so much, Jim, for your lone super chat. I know. It's getting ridiculous. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you, patrons. If you can become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. And thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for all of your... Oh, my God. Jonathan. JD. I just saw you donated here. Are you still in the chat? Thank you, JD. You're insane. Don't spend it all on your cats, please. Well, I will spend it on the show. That's why it goes right back into the show. But thank you. It keeps the show going and growing, and it means a lot. Just to know I'm not in this all by myself. And that you are getting something out of the show, too. I certainly am. And our community means everything to me. And I mean that. And the fact that you guys support the show means everything. Tells me to keep going. And even if it's it's just us. We are making a difference, at least to each other. So it matters that we're here. Sometimes it feels like we're up against the world, and it gets frustrating. Trust me, as you know, I do share my frustrations at times, but what choice do we have? This is the world we've been, as a Buddhist, right? They say you pick your life. Sometimes I think, I picked this? Jesus Christ. So to speak. And, well, we are made for the moment. What are we going to do? And when I get attacked by right-wingers, and it happens, maybe one day when we all meet, I'll tell you the rest of the story as far as the bullshit I got to put up with these right-wingers. But I think whatever. It's validation, really. And it also tells me that we're doing it correctly. We're doing it correctly. And it matters. So, thank you guys for being here and meeting me halfway. Giving me a reason to keep going, to keep, the show growing and going and growing or whatever. Joan, that's it. I want to say thank you, Joan. I'll thank you again next show. You might not be listening because it's the end of the show. Thank you, Joan, for your donation to the show. Right out, see, I know most of you guys in the chat. I've seen you before, but then I'll get a note from someone who doesn't make themselves known, like Joan and others. I've received notes from people. I've been listening for a long time. I never say anything. I know you're there too, so don't be too shy. Come and hang out. Yeah, sometimes you can't come in, hang out at the time we do the show, so you have to listen later on. I thank you for doing that. Thank you for there's so many things to listen to, so thank you for making this show one of those things. It means everything. And we will get together, okay? We will get together not next Friday, this Friday. What am I talking about? Thank you, Haiku. You are documenting history, Tara. Thank you, Haiku. Thank you, JD. Thank you. I see you. Nice to see you're still there. Thank you, Joan and Jim. And thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. And thank you, Haiku, for being a moderator. I'm really glad we're all here. I'm glad to know you guys. Means everything. And we will win. We will. I know that. We know that. We will. Might take a while. We might have some disappointments along the way. We will have some ups and downs. But we are on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. And we don't have to apologize for that. We don't have to apologize for being right. We stick together, we win. And we will win. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out tonight and everything. And we'll get together again, okay? Friday night, 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you on... Just getting my screen ready. I will see you on Friday night.